Hey, welcome to the Huntsville Hustle podcast. I'm Joe Martin. I'm your host today. I got a solo episode because, not gonna lie, had a few audio issues recently. I want to get a solo one to get my groove back on, like Stella back in the day. Pretty sure I got to figure it out, but you can let me know as you have let me know about the passes. I appreciate it. Constructive criticism, helping to get better. So doing a little solo one. And plus I've been doing a little reading. I'm a bit of an intellectual. So I want to share a few things. Maybe it could help you. So these are 12 books, 12 lessons I think every Huntsville business owner should hear. And I took a few notes and I broke it down into 12 books, kind of things that I think are most important ones, all small business owners should read. And then I divide them up into 6 sections, 2 books per section. So foundation of small business, the reality of small business, marketing and sales, mindset, systems, and scaling. Pretty sure that's 6, maybe 5. Who knows? I don't know. But it's going to be 12 books that I think you should read. If you're not, I'll give you kind of the Cliff Notes version. If you're old enough to remember those. If not, this is like Chat GPT breaking it down for you back in the day in paper form. So there you go for you young folks. So the first one, it's called The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. And the biggest lesson, if it rhymes, by the way, you know it's good. Test before you invest. A lot of people, I think they have a great idea and I think it's a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Well, I don't really recommend that. So if you read this book, there's a few things they say. Don't assume your idea will work. Get real feedback early, not just your friends, right? Yeah, go for it, bro. Or if you're like my friends, like, no, you idiot, don't do that. You got friends like that. But also, you start with a simple version instead of overbuilding. Just what can you get out the door? That's really important, right? And then let customer behavior guide your next move, not just your opinion. We all think we're awesome as small business owners. We have confidence, most of us, right? You need some backing on that. Behavior of your customers guide you, not just your opinion. All right. So the next one, The One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb. By the way, think that's a great title. I'm not overwhelmed. I can handle one-page marketing. You can too, right? Because simple marketing wins. Our friends and fellow podcast people on this show, McWilliams Marketing, they can break it down in simple. It's not easy, by the way, simple terms. And that's what's going to win, right? You don't want to get all this crazy stuff out there. Simple wins. So here's some more stuff to talk about on that. So most businesses struggle because they don't have a clear plan. They have a plan. Some of them do, and they just kind of throw and see what sticks out there, but they don't have it stepped out in a clear path. Right? You need to know exactly who you serve and how you reach them. Where are your people? Where do they hang out? Who are they? If you're trying to be all things to all people, Godspeed, my friend. That's not going to work out. If you've been in business for a while, you probably figured that out. Keep niching it down till you figure out who you are and go all in on those people. Every step should move someone closer from awareness to becoming a customer. That's kind of a simple marketing breakdown right there. Just getting to someone, they know who you are, and then you just inch them along the path until they're finally a customer. So I have a business coach, and he tells me you coach them until they become a client. So you just help these people so much they become a client. That's how we should work out, right? Number 3, Good to Great by Jim Collins. Discipline over time wins. I think that's a great takeaway from that one. Because a lot of us, we go through these seasons, right? I'm going to go hard and then I back off and I do all right. And then I'm not disciplined. I fall off. That's not going to be great. You'll be okay. I've been through seasons where my business has been okay. But when you're taking it to the next level, got to do that over time. Great businesses are built through consistent habits, not big breakthroughs, and then you just kind of sit back, right? Getting the right people on your team matters more than quick strategy changes. There's another book. I didn't put it on here, but getting the right people on your bus. There's that thing right there back in the day. So, and focus deeply on what you can be best at instead of chasing everything. You might be good at a lot of things, but what are you great at? That's kind of the main point of that book. It's right there in the title. But the next one, Profit First. Michael, it's I give it my best shot, man. I go on here in my head, I got it nailed down, and I'm trying to say, I'm guessing that's right. But pay yourself first. That's a huge lesson I had to learn the hard way when I first started my business. By the way, if you're not making business or if you're not making money, your business is not going to last. You're not a charity. Right? It may seem like it sometimes, but you got to pay yourself first. If you wait for profit at the end, it rarely shows up. Right? So setting aside profit first forces smarter decisions with what's left. And then cash flow discipline is what keeps businesses alive long term. Cash flow is king, right? We all know that in business. And then the next one, number 5, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. I can handle that name right there. The E-Myth is a classic one, and then the Revisited is even better. If you haven't read either one of those, check them out. Very good. Work on the business, not just in it. That was the first time I heard that when I read that before I started my own business. we all do the busy work. You get caught up in the busy work. That's when you're working in your business. You got to work on your business. So if it's going to truly grow, you can't just be doing all things. So being great at your craft doesn't mean you know how to run a business. Ask all the fitness people I know who thought, "Yeah, I'm good at teaching people how to squat. I should start a business." Man, I wish it was that easy. I had a lot of rough years over here for this fitness guy. So I had to figure out how to do all those things, how to become all things to all people in the business until you can have enough money to hire those people. And then, without systems, everything depends on you, and that leads to burnout. That's pretty good. Anybody, do you have systems in your business? If you're just starting out, develop those early. They will pay off in the end for sure. Otherwise, you're going to get burned out. You're going to forget what you do. And then if you ever have a goal of ever selling your business, you have to figure out the systems and how those things go. So start those early. And the goal is to build something that works even when you're not there. I would say, especially when you're not there. Would you like to take a vacation? Would you like to just work the rest of your life 80 to 100 hours in your business? No, nobody wants that, right? Maybe there's some psychos out there, but not me. No, you get it to where it can run without you. I know it takes trust. And a lot of us don't have that. We don't trust everybody to run our baby, but hey, that's the end goal. Get people on your bus that you appreciate and trust, and they can run it without you. And the next one, 6, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. I love Donald Miller. If you haven't read any of his books, good stuff. Got to check his books out. One of these that I like, the big takeaway: if you confuse, you lose. As I stutter over my words, is that irony? Is that one of those things? But if you confuse people with your marketing, all these different things, they don't have time for that. You lose, right? We don't have time for it. It's a war of attention out there. So if you're confusing people, you're going to lose their attention pretty early. Then you lose their business. So customers don't spend time figuring out what you do. They just move on. They don't have time for that. That's why you got to get back to that clear marketing plan, right? We talked about earlier. Your message should be simple, clear, and focused on their problem, not what you want them to have. What is their problem? How do you fix it? How do you help them? It should be simple, clear, and focused. Because when people understand you quickly, they trust you faster. That was a big takeaway I got from that book. Donald Miller, though, any of his books, awesome. Go check them out. Number 7, Influence by Robert Cialdini. A big lesson here: people buy emotionally, but then they justify logically. What does that mean? So trust, authority, and familiarity heavily influence decisions. So if they trust you first. We talked about a little bit earlier, and then you appear to be an authority figure, and then they're familiar with it. Those 3 combinations really going to influence decisions right there. That's why you got to get those Google reviews. You got to get those testimonials. You got to get those out there, because people will look at those before buying. The last restaurant you went to, did you look up their reviews? Probably so, right? Or anything you've done, you look up on the internet, look at those reviews. If they have a 2.3 star review, you're not going there, right? But if they have a bunch of them, like our sponsor, Vandy's, over 400 5-star reviews, that's ridiculous, right? So if you need HVAC problems, some issues, and help with your HVAC, they're right there. It's getting hot. Man, it was hot the other day. So if you need help with that, go to someone who has over 400 5-star reviews. Pretty impressive. All right. So small changes in how you present things can dramatically increase conversions, especially with those. Get those things out there. And if you don't have those reviews right now, you get overwhelmed. You see people like Vandy's with over 400. Can you get 5 this week? If you've been in business for a few years, you can get 5 this week. Just start there. Build up from that. All right, number 8, Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. That's why they call him Gary V, because people like me can't say his name. Also another guy, I enjoy all of his books. A big lesson I got that one: your brand is your leverage. So people connect with people more than businesses. They want to see the face behind the brand. They want to know that person. What are they all about? Especially in this day and age. You don't want some shady person, right, supporting them, So you got to connect the people with the business right there. Consistency, showing up, builds trust over time. Once again, we get back to consistency. That's another thing we addressed in the first one right there, earlier in this one. And you don't need to be perfect, but you need to be authentic, and you need to be visible. That's 2 things to talk about. So one of our past guests, Dwayne Wilkerson's talked about, hey, she helps CEOs become visible and authentic in front of people, right? Because a lot of us like to be behind the scenes. These days, people want to know who's pulling the strings behind there. So someone she could look up. Dwayne Wilkerson, awesome lady right there. You can look her up. She can help you out with that. And number 9, The Dip by Seth Godin. Another guy. I'm a big Seth Godin fan. All of his books have been great and very valuable to me, but The Dip is one I especially liked. And know what to quit and what to stick with. Man, that's a big one right there. I am a recovering people pleaser. I hate telling people no. Anybody with me out there? Man, it's tough. But if you keep saying no to everything, you're saying no to a lot of things that could help you. Okay, so if you got to figure out, what do you need to quit? what's actually making you money, what's not, what can you need to go all in, and what do you need to just actually eliminate. So a few things on that we can talk about. So every worthwhile pursuit gets hard at some point. That's normal. That's okay. Doesn't mean you have to quit it though. It may get hard, and that's normal. The key is knowing if you're in a temporary struggle or a dead end. It's that fine line, right? If you know you're absolutely convinced and the data shows it and all that says that you're heading in the right direction, keep going. It's going to get tough, but you can do it. But if you're just beating your head against the wall, you got to know when to quit. Got to know that sunk cost. If you look, you know about that term. I know it's hard when you have so much money, time, and effort, blood, sweat, and tears invested in something to quit. But hey, sometimes it's okay to just cut it off and find out whatever the path you need to go on. Because quitting the wrong things drains energy you could invest elsewhere and make your business so much better. If you're just feeling drained all the time doing that, that's probably a good sign. It's time to move on. Number 10, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, another good one as well. Look at this one right here. You want to measure progress backward. What does that mean? So most businesses, they feel stuck because they focus on what's missing. They don't focus on what they're actually doing right. Do you ever get that? I think we also get, speaking of reviews, do you focus more on those negative reviews than actually the 5-star reviews? I think I do sometimes. Not that I get them. I've never had one of those, but I heard about people that get them. And then you focus so much on that negative, you forget of all those other people that think you're awesome. It's tough like that. So we have humans mostly have a negativity bias, kind of bias towards that. So we forget what we're actually working on, what we're great at, and we focus on what's missing rather than what we're actually good at. So looking at how far you come is going to build your confidence, it's going to build your momentum. All those things kind of build them. You're like, hey, guess what? I am pretty awesome. Look at me. Go Joe. Go you. Whoever's listening right now. My mom probably. Maybe my wife. That's the only two. Anyway, progress fuels motivation more than perfection ever will. You know, I'm in the fitness world. I tell my clients you get more of what you celebrate, right? It's going to motivate you to keep doing the good things and keep going because times are going to get tough. In my email folder, I have a compliments folder. If someone emails me with a little testimonial, confidence review, something like that, I'm going to save that. And every now and then I go in there, boost myself up. It happens. Hey, we all have rough days. Why don't you do that? Remember how awesome you are. Number 11. Hey, you're almost there. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Gino Wickman's book, Traction. Structure creates growth. I am not a structured person. I've had to become one over the years. That's going to help create that growth when you have structure in your business. Businesses, they stall out when there's no clear direction or accountability. Just like your marketing, if you don't have a clear direction, if you don't have accountability to stick into what you're supposed to do, it's not going to happen. You're going to stall out. Everyone on the team needs to know their roles and priorities. When there's no vision, the people perish. It comes from a book. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called the Bible. So if you don't have the vision, everyone's on different pages and going this and doing that, doing their own thing. Man, that's going to be tough to get going. Everyone has to be pulling in the right direction. And then consistent systems and meetings keep things moving forward. Nobody likes meetings, right? But you got to have them. You got to have them. So these consistent meetings, and they know what to expect, and everyone gets on the same page consistently and keep going. Keep moving forward. All right, the last one. Systematology. David Jennings. My bad. Systemology. Close enough. Hey, like I said, in my head, I'm crushing it. What comes out, it just comes out. Back to systems. Systems also create freedom. That's what we're all looking for, right? Man, if you can just have those systems, can you get them? Do you have them right now? And are they operating smoothly? So if your business can't run without you, it can't grow. Once again, we don't want to be stuck in our business. We want to be the one who owns the business, but not stuck working in the business for the rest of our lives. And then documenting processes turns chaos into consistency. Man, I don't like documenting things. I don't. But think about what you do every day, A to Z, the whole thing. Could you document that? In case someone needs to come in case you would like to take a vacation, take some time off, someone can come in, you got to document that. So it can help you turn your chaos into consistency. And systems also will allow you to scale without burning out. Man, burnout is a real thing. You got to be careful mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually in this job, in this world of small business. And those are going to help you. Those systems, those structures, those things are going to help out. So I hope this is helpful. Appreciate you tuning in and listening to me with my new microphone and that. So if you're a business in Huntsville and then you could apply just one of these lessons, I think you'd find that very helpful. If you could please give me a little feedback on this. Was my audio okay? Was it terrible again? I don't know. You got to tell me these things. And also, did one of these lessons stand out to you? Do you have a book I should have included on there? Love to hear your feedback. I love that you tune in and listen to me ramble. I appreciate that. We've had some great guests. They are the star of the show right here. So please, if you also have suggestions on future guests, I'd really appreciate that. We're trying to kind of keep growing small business right here in the Huntsville, Alabama area. So it's all about collaborating over competing. Keep growing together. Please share this episode so someone needs to hear it. Please give me some feedback, and also please share who I need to have on this show next. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thank you for listening in. We'll see you guys next week on the Huntsville Hustle podcast.